During Saturday night's Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Houston Rockets in Cleveland in Quicken Loans, something happened to LeBron James that I've never heard happen. And this was a nationally televised game. Someone called out LeBron James, not for him missing a shot, not for him turning the ball over. It happens to everyone. Everyone has a bad day at work. But I heard a coach that LeBron James has a lot of respect for, and Mark Jackson, the former coach of the Golden State Warriors, who's now part of ESPN's stellar broadcast team. I heard Mark Jackson call LeBron James out for his effort. And rarely do you hear that. I remember maybe once I've heard someone call LeBron James out for his effort back in the 2011 NBA Finals against the Dallas Mavericks. I heard people call out LeBron James for his effort. But in a regular season game, LeBron James has notoriously been known for overgiving effort in the regular season and not pacing himself to the best of his abilities. Mark Jackson said something along the lines of, listen, LeBron is the Michael Jackson of the Jackson 5. To some degree, LeBron has to be held accountable for the Cavs' abysmal effort. They just don't want to play out there. They're not playing for each other. The energy is low. They lost by 38 to that Houston Rockets team. It could have been 50 or 60. Honestly, James Harden was off. It would have been more than that. He made like 1 or 2 threes. He usually makes more than that a game. And I am seeing something that if you're a Cavs fan, you ought to be very afraid of. I don't think it's 100% right now, but LeBron is slowly starting to check out, right? And Mark Jackson is a guy that I thought had the possibilities of coaching LeBron James, whether it was in Cleveland, if they fired Tyronn Lue after the season, or wherever LeBron James decides to go next. So for Mark Jackson to risk his potential next job that'll pay more than ESPN, and you'll have one of the greatest players of all time with you, for Mark Jackson to risk that relationship with LeBron, there has to be something that Mark Jackson couldn't hold in, right? And listen, I'm watching LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, and his effort is not great. It's still good, but on a lot of plays, it's bad. It's still good overall at his age, what he's giving the game of basketball, the minutes and mileage on his body. But for him to consider him the leader of that team, he's not talking on defense right now. He's just making plays so his stats look good. And you don't say these things about LeBron. If you're a Cavs fan, right? And I'm not a Cavs fan, but I'm just saying, I'd be very concerned that LeBron is slowly starting to check out. And maybe LeBron had no intentions on leaving this Cleveland Cavaliers team a month ago. But because of the stretch they're in right now and how bad things are and how much the media is on his neck day in and day out, he's definitely thinking about it right now. I know for a fact LeBron has thought about, okay, maybe I can go to Houston or somewhere else where the pressure will be off me a little bit. This is ridiculous. These guys want me to be the best player at 45. These guys don't want to play. They take me for granted. And I think what's really hurt LeBron James more than anything, and he'll never say this, the Cavs have a Brooklyn pick. It's a top 10 pick, at least. If Brooklyn struggles down the stretch, it might be top 5, maybe even top 3. Heck, the Cavs have gotten the number 1 pick out of the 8th spot, right? They've gotten the number 1 pick with a very slim chance in the past, right? So they're holding on to that pick. They got that pick in the Kyrie Irving, Isaiah Thomas trade. And I think it hurts LeBron that this team is so afraid that they might lose LeBron. And I get the Cavs side to it, but listen, LeBron is looking up. Kevin Love is out for 2 months with a broken hand. LeBron needs help. This team is struggling. The trade deadline is in 3 days. You have with Isaiah Thomas still injured, this is the only asset you have right now. You can't trade Tristan. Nobody wants that contract. You can't really trade JR. Nobody wants that contract. This is the only asset you have, that Brooklyn pick. And if teams are selling at the deadline, a la Charlotte, some of these other teams in the league, if they're selling at the deadline, and all you have is that pick, and you refuse to trade it because you're scared you might lose LeBron James, and you don't want to have happen what happened to you the first time, you might lose him for real. He might leave again. And I get it. Every time LeBron James makes free agency this big spectacle, he leaves. Remember, the last 2 times when it's been this big thing, he's left the team. He might leave again. And Cleveland's trying to protect themselves. I get it. But Cleveland, let's be clear. Without LeBron James, you're not competing for championships anyway. I don't care who you get. You're in rebuild mode regardless. And you might want to really consider putting together a team that can go after Golden State one last chance. One last time to compete for a championship. Because there's no telling when the city of Cleveland is going to see a team get to a championship round. It might not ever happen again. And it looks like LeBron is starting to slowly check out. When guys like Mark Jackson are slowly starting to criticize this man's effort, not his game, his effort, you might be in trouble, Cleveland. You might be in trouble.